I just want a piece of French toast, but that doesn't exist in my world.
Wait. Professor, what? How do
I
you
prefer
know?
doctor.
Doctor, how do you know French toast are real? What is even a French toast? Like, where have you had French toast before? Like, what is even French toast?
I had it before in my multiverse travels. I just need to get back to essentially every other universe has French toast. It's just us that doesn't for some reason. Who invented French toast? Maybe I should invent French toast, but we don't have French toast ingredients here.
What are the ingredients for French toast?
I don't even know.
Wait, so you're eating something that you don't even know if it's good for you?
No,
or
it just
not.
tastes good.
What is it made of?
Bread.
And what else?
Bread. Tastiness.
Just bread.
French breadness.
How do you eat it?
With your mouth.
Okay, Professor, doctor, you're being a little bit facetious.
I'm being literal.
Can you please tell me what is in French toast? How do you make it?
I don't know. Maybe once I step into this other universe, I'll be able to come back and tell you. I'll go ask somebody what it's made of.
Okay, let just turn on your machine then.
Okay. Dark Matter and Ori enjoy Cracker Barrel.
Hello, welcome to A Novel Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and wife, Karradyne.
Hello.
I wanted to go somewhere completely different with that intro.
Where did you want to go? You wanted to go into another universe?
Yes, and I wanted to see...
It would have taken up the whole damn episode.
I mean, what kind of universe doesn't have ingredients to make French toast? You guys don't have milk, eggs, fucking nutmeg and cinnamon?
I was flying by the seat of my pants, okay?
No, that's not good. Apart
Don't
from
make
that,
me go back and re-record the whole damn episode just to re-record the cold open.
yes, we should do that. Just redo everything just for the cold
No,
open.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
good
good.
too. How are you? How are you doing today?
Well, it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and we're both still in our pajamas. So I think that is answer enough.
Yeah, we went to Georgia to spend Thanksgiving with your family, right?
Yep.
And I had the bright idea to leave Friday night.
Yep. At like about 10:30, 11
at night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got home like at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good drive actually.
Yeah, it was a lot smoother than the drive up. That's for sure.
Yeah, no accidents, no cops, no traffic, no nothing.
But then we
bad.
came home to pipes bursting in our walls. Yay!
Yay! That was so much fun. Fucking pipe tests. Bursting.
At least it decided to burst after we managed to sleep in.
Yeah, and it burst.
And then just took over our entire Saturday.
And it just burst, while we were here. You know, it wasn't like...
Yeah, it didn't happen while we were gone, at least.
Well, we were up there, because it would have been fun to come in and just see
our apartment destroyed.
Your bathroom completely
like
ripped
obliterated,
apart.
Ripped out, gutted.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fun times
Yeah, it was very
here.
fun.
At least we aren't homeowners yet and are having to foot the bill for this.
Exactly. Good thing.
Small advantages.
Good thing about Georgia is that we had a lot of food.
We did. We had too much food.
A lot of good food.
I was ready to explode Thursday
we went
night.
to a Mexican place called Chavez. It's at a gas station. It's kind of small, kind of a little bit dingy, but not really. And
it's a hole in the wall.
Yeah, as soon as we walked in, I fell in love with the place.
He's like, "Oh man, this is gonna be good."
Mm-hmm. And it was cheap, and the tacos were good, and whatever everybody else got was really good. They even had like this little bar with like all you can eat
toppings, basically.
Yeah, like hot sauces and pico de gallo,
lime, cilantro,
and the radishes. It was so good. It was so good. The only issue that I had with that place is that they didn't have cabeza.
Yeah, they were out of a lot of stuff.
And they didn't have tongue, which I wanted to cow tongue tacos. But everything was really tasty. The only issue is that, apart from that, all the meats kind of like tasted a little bit of the same. They kind of seasoned everything the same, even the
I bet they
pastor.
didn't taste like the chicken. I bet the chicken tasted different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your rice and beans were insanely good.
I'm glad you thought so.
Loved them. But so I did have something last week that I did not love. I actually hated a lot, and I should just from now on never have this thing ever again. The Matcha Green Tea Latte from Dunkin'.
Oh, you never would have gotten that in the first place.
See, the thing is, I always get a cold brew, right? And I didn't want a cold brew. I wanted to have something different, something maybe new. Maybe I'd like it. So I decided maybe I'll like green tea latte.
You're crazy.
And I hate it.
You hate tea.
I hate it every single sip. It also doesn't help that the what's it called? The latte part was more like heavy cream instead of milk or whatever it is supposed to be in a latte. And it was very thick, very throat burny.
It sounds disgusting.
Not good at all.
I mean, not to mention the fact that Dunkin' tastes like dirty diapers. Dunkin' is the worst. I hate it. I hate it.
I think the cold brew is pretty good. So apart from that, nothing else from Dunkin'.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion, I suppose.
Whatever. We did get something at Georgia.
At Georgia. We got something at Georgia.
At Georgia.
You know, that's something we could have gotten at Orlando last night.
No, we couldn't have.
Not last night, but...
when we went to have this week's garbage, I looked for these. They didn't have them. Mm-hmm. So we actually have 2 candy bars. This is the Milka Oreo and Milka Chips Ahoy candy bars.
Wait, do these taste like that shit you put in my mouth the other day that was so nasty?
No. Those were the chunkies, the raisin.
It's different.
The raisin chocolate bar.
Okay, yeah, because I don't ever want to taste that again. No, that was awful.
Those are an acquired taste.
I literally had to spit it out into a napkin.
Yeah, those are an acquired taste. They're not great. So I'm just trying to open here the Milka Oreo.
That's the crackling you all hear.
Ooh, this is cute. Look at this.
It's cute. Oh, it's like a literal
Oreo,
like little chocolate piece with an Oreo embedded in it.
Yeah, it's like
Debbie's brownies.
Huh. Here, you take this small piece.
Okay.
And I will eat this.
Are they gonna listen to us crunch?
Probably.
Okay.
It's like ASMR. Wow. That is actually really good. It helps that the Milka chocolate is insanely creamy and rich and delicious. And then the Oreo is just crunchy. It's not soggy at all. I expected a soggy Oreo.
I don't like Oreos.
Apart from that, what do you think?
There's too much chocolate. I don't like chocolate.
I think you're the only one in the world that says there's too much chocolate. I don't want chocolate.
It tastes fake. I don't care for it.
I love Milka. Milka chocolate is delicious to me.
Kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
All right, so wash your mouth out. Let me open the Chips Ahoy's one, and let's see what we're dealing with.
Can't be worse than that one. Oh, too much chocolate. Oh,
then the Oreo one, or the... Yep.
Too much.
Okay, so let's see here. This bar, oh, it's soft. Okay, so this is like stuffed inside. Mm-hmm. The best way that I can describe it.
It's like a Hershey stuffed with Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, a lot of Chips Ahoy and cream. So here's a little piece for you, and I'll take this one. That tastes like a Chips Ahoy cookie.
I don't like Chips Ahoy either.
What do you like?
I don't like packaged cookies.
You don't like packaged cookies?
No.
This one is actually really good. I think this one is my favorite. I think I really like this one more than the Oreo one.
I mean, other than the texture, I don't really feel like it tastes like anything unique.
No? Mm-mm. Not even the chocolate?
No.
It's the thing I like about Milka is that the chocolate is so rich and so creamy.
Don't like either one of them.
Well, to you, they're both garbage. I think they're absolute garbage. So if you guys want to see what this looks like, just look at our, what's it called?
Instagram post.
Yeah. And we'll have a picture of both bars there.
In the carousel.
Yeah. And you guys can take a look at that whenever you go. If you ever go to, what's it called? Cracker Barrel.
The country store.
Yeah, just look around. You'll find them or not. Because I couldn't find one of them. So, all right. So I guess that's it for the intro. Is there anything else you want to... Oh, we do have something.
Yes, I discovered something very sad while I was scrolling Facebook last night. As everyone knows, we watch a fuck ton of Chopped. We
Not
watch
just
it
a fuck ton.
Yeah.
A metric fuck ton.
Oh my gosh. We watch it every night while we eat dinner, like to the point that my phone starts giving me notification, like pick up where you've left off if we've gone too long without watching it. Like when we went to Georgia and we didn't watch it for several days in a row. But anyway, they always have guest judges, really very consistently. I'd say like maybe every other episode they've got a guest judge.
I wouldn't say every other episode, but like every season, every time.
It's pretty consistent though. There's several episodes.
Every time they have like an important competition, like a very
specific,
themed,
like smoked or butchers, they'll have
she was in like
an expert. She was on a cake, a dessert,
cake pastry, baked whatever episode.
Yeah, she's a famous wedding cake decorator, Sylvia Weinstock. She died at 91 yesterday, or sometime within the last couple days. I was very sad. She was a little tiny, vicious lady. She reminded me of Edna Mode with her big round glasses.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that in her episode she said that she didn't start baking until she was in her
right, because that older
like
woman who did wind up winning was on that competition, and she made a comment about how old she was, and she said that she got started a lot later in life. Yeah,
she said something like 40s or 50s that she got started, and she kind of created a cake empire.
Isn't that amazing? There's still hope for us.
Yeah. I mean, this podcast might launch itself. Maybe one day we'll say something so inappropriate that we'll become famous in a good way.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe
be sprawled across the 10 o'clock news.
It's like, or
a novel console offends the world.
Local podcasters say something terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll get canceled and kicked out of where we live.
But we'll be famous from our cancellation.
Yes.
People will be tweeting out our address so people can come take pictures in front of our home like they did with J.K. Rowling this past week.
People might try to kill us too.
Yeah, let's maybe not do that.
Yeah, please don't dox us.
Please.
Please, that wouldn't be fun. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some book talk.
In case y'all don't remember, this week's episode is where we review the book and game that were chosen by all of our Patreon supporters in the backlog of doom a million years ago. I don't even remember when that was. So if you want to have a choice in this moving forward, subscribe to our Patreon. It's only $2 a month, and you can choose what kind of torture to put us through in a couple months from now.
Was it torture for you, apart from the time constraint?
The fact that I put it off, I was procrastinating, and then I had to crunch read, so that was a little bit stressful. Other than that, it was a fine experience.
I went through Ori like fucking knife through hot knife through butter.
A hot knife through butter.
A knife through hot butter.
Okay. Anyway, so my book was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. It was published on July 26th of 2016, so it is a bit older. And it was published by Crown. So I'm basically just going to tell you like the first part of the book. I'm not going to give you all the spoilers like I did last week or whenever the hell that was. And I told you the entire plot of the book. I don't always tell the entire plot of the book. Not always. Not always. I would like to, I think I actually normally don't say as much as I should.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. I think I don't say enough.
All right, then say all you want to say about Dark Matter.
So Dark Matter begins with this very seemingly boring scenario in which this like maybe mid-30s, early 40s, I think early 40s, year old man is like going out to a bar to congratulate his friend who just won some science award, and he's jealous because he's a scientist too, but he gave up everything when he knocked up his girlfriend, and they decided to have their kid instead of pursuing their life goals. And so he goes down to the bar, congratulates the friend. Wife's like, bring back a carton of ice cream when you're done. It's fine. Whatever, go have fun. 45 minutes, that's your time limit. On his way home with his ice cream, he almost gets hit by a cab. And then this man starts following him wearing a geisha mask. and holds him at gunpoint, puts him in a car, tells him to drive to a specific address. They get there, he beats the crap out of him, makes him get naked, injects him with something, and he's like, I feel like I know you, like, what the heck's going on? And the guy's like, you wouldn't believe if I told you. And then the next thing you know, he's woken up in, like, this sterile lab facility. I imagined it as being, like, very E.T.-like there at the end when all the hazmat people come in. And there's plastic everywhere. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, say
there's plastic everywhere.
Sterile and whatever. I just picture the lab in the Resident Evil movie.
Okay, picture whatever you want.
Yeah.
He has no idea what's going on, but this guy who's there when he wakes up is like, oh my gosh, man, we're so glad to see you back. We know you might need like some resting time, but we can't wait to hear what happened. And he's just like, what the fuck? I don't know you people. He winds up escaping the facility. They're chasing him. He goes back to his home, and even though it is his home, it's not his home. It's completely different. There's no signs of his family. Kind of looks like he lived there as a bachelor. It looks different. Different appliances, things like that. They come and find him at this house. They're trying to take him again. He winds up eluding them again. And he eventually ends up with his wife. But they're not married. They've never been married. They have no child. She's a famous artist. And he's like, I have absolutely no idea what is going on. We know this whole time that he's a scientist. He has mentioned very briefly things about like having like a disconnect from reality, stuff like that. And he's explaining to her, like, I just left a world where you're my wife, we have a kid, and then this group of people busts up into her apartment, kills her, takes him back. They literally shot her between the eyes in front of him and took him back into custody. He's not in custody, he's just, they're hiding him in their facilities, basically. And
They killed someone to take someone back to work. They killed an innocent person.
Well, they go back.
It's like if you left work without permission, you came here and they came in and killed Luna to take you back there.
Well, they went back to the lab and they basically told him that they had to kill her because they knew that he would have told her things that she didn't have any business knowing.
I see.
Yes. So I wanted to read a little bit, just a very, very brief snippet where I had a suspicion of like what was going on, but where I started to really figure out exactly what was going on. He starts talking about Schrodinger's cat. And that's
the cat that there's a cat in the box and you don't know if the cat is dead or alive until you open the box, but it's possible that it's either dead or alive or in a state of being both dead and alive at the same time.
Yes. Okay, so
You're not surprised that I know that?
No.
Oh, man. I thought that would surprise you.
I'm going to read a somewhat lengthy snippet, okay? But this, I hope, will pull you in. Okay. My work in my late 20s involved a box much like this one, only it was a 1-inch cube designed to put a microscopic object into superposition, into what we physicists sometimes call, in what passes for humor among scientists, cat state, as in Schrodinger's cat, the famous thought experiment. Imagine a cat, a vial of poison, and a radioactive source in a sealed box. If an internal sensor registers radioactivity, like an atom decaying, the vial is broken, releasing a poison that kills the cat. The atom has an equal chance of decaying or not decaying. It's an ingenious way of linking an outcome in the classical world, our world, to a quantum level event. The Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics suggests a crazy thing. Before the box is opened, before observation occurs, the atom exists in superposition, an undetermined state of both decaying and not decaying, which means, in turn, that the cat is both alive and dead, and only when the box is opened and an observation made does the wave function collapse into one of two states. In other words, we only see one of the possible outcomes, for instance, a dead cat, and that becomes our reality. But then things get really weird. Is there another world just as real as the one we know where we opened the box and found a purring living cat instead? The many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics says yes, that when we open the box, there's a branch. Our universe where we discover a dead cat, one where we discover a live one, and it's the act of our observing the cat that kills it or lets it live. And then it gets mind-fuckingly weird, because those kinds of observations happen all the time. So if the world really splits whenever something is observed, that means there's an unimaginably massive, infinite number of universes, a multiverse where everything that can happen will happen.
Yeah, I like that theory. BioShock Infinite is based off of that.
Really?
idea. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So a little bit of spoilers for BioShock Infinite, and well, massive spoilers because this is practically the ending, but the game's like 10 years old now. In the end, it's revealed that the bad guy, Comstock, is the same guy that you've been playing at the entire game, Booker.
Oh, wow. It sounds like this book.
And the only way to stop Comstock wouldn't be to go as a child and kill him as a baby. It would be to go back to the point where he was baptized, and he decided to either get baptized and become Comstock or not get baptized and stay Booker, and kill Booker in that point. So that him being or not being baptized created a branch that led to the creation of Columbia, which is the floating city. And then in Columbia, other stuff happens that then leads to the creation of Rapture, because there's always a lighthouse and always a man. And BioShock goes into depth of
the ocean.
Well, that too, but it goes into a crazy ass depth of the topic, making it so that, let's say we're sitting here recording right now, I can decide to put on my headphones or not. I'm not putting my headphones on right now. But
there's
in
the
another
universe where you did. There's the universe where I didn't finish this book on time.
Exactly.
I was convinced I was not going to finish it. There's a universe where we didn't leave Georgia Friday night.
Yep.
There's a universe where our pipes didn't burst.
Yep. There's a universe for
where
everything.
we didn't wind up together.
Yep. Yep.
I was sitting there thinking that while I was reading this. I was like, Jesus Christ, there's a universe where I stayed with my ex and was probably like borderline suicidal at this point.
Yeah.
Same for you.
Yeah. The theory, it's so crazy that, that like in the book, you said that it's the cat's either dead or alive. Mm-hmm. And until you open the box, the cat is in both states.
Exactly, because you're not observing it.
I don't remember if it was from BioShock or if I read this somewhere else after I started reading about what the fuck happened in the ending of BioShock, because I did not understand anything that happened.
We stupid.
I also read that they can build up on the theory. Like you said, there's the chlorine mechanism or not. So it could get to the point where the cat is dead, but the chlorine mechanism didn't turn on. Or the cat is alive and the chlorine mechanism turned on. Or the chlorine mechanism turned on and the cat is alive. Either way. So there's a lot of possibilities can create billions and billions and billions of different time alternate universes.
Mm-hmm. It's so cool. Like, I guess I can tell you this without it being a spoiler, but it turns out that the friend that he went to congratulate at the bar, in one universe, he approached that friend and had him make a drug because he was like specializing in the prefrontal cortex or something, but he had him build a compound that would basically turn off your ability to like ponder existence. Does that make sense? Like, it made you like not observe so that you could travel between. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yes,
okay. Yeah, that's very
yes.
interesting. Yeah, now I get it more.
Yeah, and then like you have these people traveling to these different universes, but it's like they are imagining the next universe that they step into being. So like this one woman is like, oh man, well there's a scenario where we jumped into this cube and we didn't make it. We died. And the next door that they open is her witnessing them not making it into the cube and getting shot and killed. And like They want to go into a world where he's with the wife, but he's so scared that he puts all of his fear into stepping through this next door. And it's a pandemic ravaged world where they were married.
He came into our world?
He came
into our planet?
I had...
Oh my God, we made a cameo in the book.
I know, it was 2016, but I had the biggest chicken skin spots all over my skin. I was in chills just because, like, the whole city was silent, no one on the streets. They wound up hijacking a car and they flipped to a radio station. And it's like the CDC has ordered blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, it was terrifying until he finally gets to his house to find the wife. It ain't COVID. It's something way worse than COVID. But
the
it was
Walking Dead
really
virus.
eerie. I mean, she was like covered in welts and her eyes had hemorrhaged and
So she was an anti-masker.
yeah. It was funny that a CDC vehicle pulled up behind them and gave them masks and morphine to help her pass away. Like, please wear a mask and don't touch her. Like, this is too real. Infection is imminent.
Going back to the whole turning off your
Ability to observe, to
yeah.
whatever the words are for that. Yeah.
I kind of figured that's what it was when you were talking about until you make an observation part with the Schrodinger's cat theory.
You got to turn it off.
Huh. So maybe that's how we see into other universes. We don't acknowledge the reality that we're looking at here, and we see all the universes at the same time.
You have an open portal to everything.
I feel
because you can't think about it. Right.
I feel like that science is a bit faulty and it's actually very dangerous because if you can't...
It's fiction. It's fiction.
No, I know, but just imagine if it was real. Like, if you can actually turn off that ability.
Like your reality perceptors?
Yeah, and you can see every reality at the same time. Your brains are going to leak out the side of your ears.
Well, I mean, he was starting to go crazy there in it. So it's a very, very good book. It had me thinking, it had my heart racing because it is like a sci-fi thriller. And I was just like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen to him now?
Oh, man,
I had the whole,
awesome.
like, walking down a dark corridor, which is even more telling once you read the book. You just,
I've understood. I never understood, actually, how, what's his name? Cthulhu author.
George Orwell.
No,
not George Orwell. That's 1984. No, Cthulhu is
somebody.
Orson Welles. No, not Orson Welles.
Burger Champ is Orson Welles.
Burger Champ is like cringing listening to us trying to come up with.
Dave is screaming.
It's blah 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 blah.
Let me Cthulhu author. Let me see here.
H.G. Wells. No, H.P. Lovecraft.
You were saying
I just said H.P. Wells, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was like, in the alphabet, close to.
In Lovecraft stories, you hear about these people going mad after seeing the ancient ones, which are the ancient god deities that cosmic horrors, right?
Knowledge makes you mad.
I never understood why seeing a monster would make somebody go crazy, but now putting this into it, like what I explained about seeing all the
simplicity of your existence was a lie.
Yeah, and like being able to see all the realities and that causing your brain to not be able to comprehend everything at the same time, and you just, I'm pretty sure you're literally your brain would just pop and stop working. Now I understand how you would go crazy from seeing a cosmic entity like Cthulhu or whatever. So, I learned something today, and my understanding grew, and I like that about this podcast. My stupid ass learns something almost every week.
It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
And I learned the name of H.P. Lovecraft.
We knew it. It was just it was hidden somewhere in our ability to think properly.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else you want to say about Dark Matter?
So I really enjoyed it. I was a little bit, tiny bit turned off by the fact that I did figure out I didn't figure out like the big bad, but I figured out what happened. Like I figured out who the geisha mask person was, but I do feel like it was kind of intentional. I mean, I feel like you probably know who the geisha mask person was. Just me telling you enough about this story.
It was Arya Stark. She was the geisha mask the whole time.
Oh gosh, if you've never seen the musical Thrones, see if you can find it anywhere. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's a show about Game of Thrones. It's great.
So I also feel like part of that was intentional. You were supposed to realize that. But then there was an element that came into play a little bit later that I did not see coming at all. And I did really like the way that it ended. So all of that, and just the fact that it was just a really intriguing story counteracted the fact that I was a little bit bummed about figuring out who the geisha mask was, because it was obvious.
So it kind of let itself down and redeemed itself at the same time?
Yes. So I still gave it 5 stars.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. It was fun. I don't think I'll ever reread it, and unless you want to read it, I think it'll probably go to Bright Light, because it's not one that I feel like an insane attachment to. Bright Light is the book where I trade in all of my books for store credit to get new books. It was good, but I don't feel like, oh my gosh, this book, it's amazing.
So, we obviously went Black Friday shopping. We went shopping this past weekend, and I bought the director's cut of Death Stranding. And I was telling you a little bit about the game and how fucking absurd and weird it is. And I thought, this might be the perfect game for me to play, write down the entire story, so that we could make a Patreon episode of me telling you everything that happens in the game.
Are you going to make me do a Patreon episode for Dark Matter?
I was thinking, if you remember enough, or if you can just skim...
Well, we need to record it, like, right now.
If you could skim through the book and just write, like, the highlights of what happened, like what we do with the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
If you could do that, and then we could do a Patreon episode about that, I think that would be fucking awesome.
Okay.
Since we already reviewed it.
I think you should read it, though.
I mean, I could, but I also don't have time to play video games for the podcast. I can't read a book on top of that.
You're so full of shit. All the time you spend, I'm not going to talk about what you're doing while you're doing it, but when you're scrolling TikTok, you could be reading a book.
I'm happy that next week we're doing another backlog of Doom
so that we don't have to get anything ready for it.
Exactly.
Thank God.
So I can play some games that I can actually enjoy, which I'm actually going to talk about.
Yeah, I got a buddy read book I got to read, so... Yeah. Chop, chop.
Thank God for a backlog of Doom episodes. All right, so you said 5 stars for Dark Matter?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So hopefully...
Not my kind of book, but I really enjoyed it. Not my typical kind of book. I like sci-fi. I don't like thrillers.
I think it's the whole infinite universe possibilities thing.
Yeah, it was really intriguing, and I felt like it was well executed. I mean, it seemed, granted, this is coming from someone with no knowledge at all, except from watching What If of the multiverse. It seemed like he was fairly knowledgeable and wasn't just pulling stuff out of his ass. If you have not read any of his books, you should read this one.
Who's
and
the author?
Recursion. Blake Crouch. Recursion is about time travel, not time travel in the traditional, like, hokey sense. And then it ultimately winds up nuclear war scenarios, which was funny. I think, I can't remember which book is published. It's not funny. It's not funny. But
they opened the door, a nuke was falling, like, nope, and they closed it, and it was like the ending of another book.
The first world that they step into is a nuclear ravaged Chicago.
It was like, nope, not in here.
Let me look and see when Recursion published. I can't remember which one was first. I think Dark Matter is first. Yeah, Recursion was 3 years later, June 11th, 2019. But yeah, the first world they step into. Gosh, he actually has several books. All do not look like they're anywhere near what I would typically read, and it looks like Recursion is his last book that was published.
So you think you're going to give this dude another chance?
No, I mean, like, those two were just on my radar because they're pretty popular on Bookstagram. But I honestly, this is not what I would choose to sit down and read, you know?
I mean, there's no medieval penis or...
No, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. You know how I love that medieval penis or
Yep.
that Regency penis. Speaking of Regency penis, Emma, the 2020 adaptation is
My
on Hulu
aunt's
right
dog.
now. Your niece, your cousin's baby. Also, like, I need to talk to her and see if she's a Jane Austen fan. Do you know?
Who, my aunt?
No, Zarin.
I don't think so.
Because she's naming both of her children after famous Jane Austen characters.
I'm not sure.
Eleanor.
I don't think she reads.
Bliss.
I think she might watch a lot of novelas though.
Oh.
So
Are Emma and Eleanor popular Spanish names?
I don't know.
Novella names?
I haven't been in Puerto Rico in like 6 years.
Oh,
so.
gosh. Well, anyway, Emma is on Hulu and it's amazing. Bill Nye is the most awesome.
The science guy.
No, not Bill Nye. Bill Nye.
Bill.
He's Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean.
I don't
you never
like those
saw
movies.
it.
I don't
Okay.
care for those movies.
But you know who he is?
No.
He's the one who was in love with Homegirl that was in Venom.
What?
Remember when we were watching the second Venom and you're like, wasn't she in Pirates of the Caribbean? He's the guy with the octopus face that's in love with her.
No, don't remember.
Yeah.
No. Oh,
He's also in Love Actually, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. Anyway, go watch Emma. It's awesome. You see Regency butt, but no Regency dick.
okay. So let's go ahead and get into some games and stuff. So for this week's game, we have Ori and the Blind Forest. This was chosen by our wonderful Patreon supporters. Ori and the Blind Forest is a platform adventure Metroidvania video game developed by Moon Studios and published by Microsoft Studios. The game was released for Xbox One and Microsoft Windows in March 2015 and for Nintendo Switch in September 2019.
Why do they do that?
So originally this was an Xbox game.
It's too pretty to be an Xbox game.
It's definitely not a what you would think would be on Xbox while you're.
Do you
playing
know what
and
I
looking at
picture
it.
when I think of Xboxes? The only things I picture?
What?
War games.
War
boom,
game?
boom, 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 machine
'Cause
guns.
that's what your brother
and
played?
Destiny and Halo. That's all I picture.
Yeah, that's the knee, and that's the knee too,
That's the knee?
and that's the knee too.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So I'm just reading this off of Wikipedia because they really did a
Wikipedia.
The guy that wrote this did a really good job of breaking down everything about the game. Players assume control of Ori, a small white spirit, and Scene, the light and eyes of the forest spirit tree. Players are tasked to move between platforms and solve puzzles. The game features a save system called Souls Link, which allows players to save their progress at will with limited resources, and an upgrade system that gives players the ability to strengthen Ori skills and abilities. So basically, the story apparently was inspired by The Lion King and Iron Giant,
What?
and the gameplay feels a lot like Rayman.
It's so pretty.
It's beautiful.
It's so pretty.
What you saw was the ugly parts of the game.
What?
I got some parts later on that were just breathtaking. Like
It reminded me of like Pandora. Avatar.
Yeah. I can see that.
The bioluminescence and
Yep,
stuff.
I can see a lot of that. So the movement in the game feels a lot like the newer Rayman game. So, it's all floaty, it's fast traversal, you always have a momentum going. And of course, it's a Metroidvania, so you get a giant map to explore with secrets hidden all over the place. And because it's a Metroidvania, you gain new abilities as you're playing so that you can explore more and more of the map. So there's a little bit of backtracking, but using backtracking in a Metroidvania, using the word backtracking, it doesn't feel like an insult. It is what the genre actually is. You have to backtrack. If you don't like backtracking, you probably won't like a Metroidvania. I adore Metroidvanias. They are amazing, beautiful games. Especially Ori was fantastic. So going back to the thing that I was telling you, there's a scene which I absolutely loved. You're returning a spirit of water back to life, And as soon as you turn it back to life, a giant rush of water just starts chasing you. So you have to escape that rush of water with all of the abilities you have gained up to that point. So it really tests your skills and your mastery of all these abilities to escape. And that shit is just fucking perfection. It was so much fun to do that. You're zipping from side to side, jumping, climbing on shit, avoiding enemies, avoiding spikes, danger, avoiding immediate deaths. It was just so fun. This game, I absolutely adored everything about this game, except for a couple of things. So let me just...
There's always something.
Yeah, there's always something. So let me just go ahead and get into my notes. So the intro of the game. This intro of the game felt to me just like the intro of the movie Up.
Devastation! Pure devastation. God, I can just hear the music. I'm just, oh my God.
So yeah, so I was watching, I was like, wow. Like they just, it's so amazing when you have a talented team of people just tell you a story in like 3 to 5 minutes and have that story be more emotionally charged and heavier than a fucking TV show can do in like 10 seasons.
Those fucking Pixar writers, I'm telling you, they are trained to rip your heartstrings out of your chest.
So yeah,
even with a little bird learning how to swim. Oh,
was that
Piper.
the
one that shows at Epcot?
I like that one.
Yeah. Or
yeah.
showed. I don't know if it's still there, but yeah, it's adorable.
So let me talk a little bit about the music and the sound design. So there's a lot of whooshes and, like magic sounding attacks from whenever you attack. And there's a lot of crunches and wood breaking and fires because there's forest fires a lot of the time.
It's very elemental.
Yeah, it's very elemental. You're basically tasked with returning the water, the wind, and the fire back to the land.
What about the earth? You return the earth to the earth?
No, the earth is still there. It never went anywhere. Where was I going? Okay, so yeah, the sound design. The sounds perfect. They sound great. They fit the game amazingly, and then the music just completely threw me off. I didn't expect for it to be as detailed and as amazing as it was, to the point where the music just sounds like it was done so simple and so easily, but because it fits everything so perfectly. Like there's not a lot of talking, and when there's talking, it's just text that appears on the screen and babble coming out of gibberish. And a lot of the times where there's an emotional scene happening or something of importance happening, the music grows and diminishes with whatever's happening on the screen. So if Ori's like seeing something in the distance and it starts getting closer, and then he realizes a monster is coming to kill him or her or them or they, because they call him he and them her a couple of times in the games. There's no the music will grow with that incoming threat. And then while you're escaping from the threat, the music is just going ham the entire time. It is very, very well done. So Karradyne just looked up a picture of Ori. And doesn't Ori look like a mix between a monkey and Luna?
I can see that, sort of. I'm thinking more like that bastard bat from Anastasia.
No, Ori is way cuter than that. Ori is adorable.
Ori's pretty cute. Yeah, like a fox and Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has got like little monkey movements with the running and all that stuff.
Is this a monster?
I think that's from the second game.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's another one?
I never ran into that
monster. Are you going to play it?
Probably eventually.
I'm just going to look at art while you talk.
While I talk about Ori?
Yes, it's so pretty.
It is super pretty. I like this one thing about Ori's animations, and it's that when Ori's running, his legs are going really fast, and he goes like this with his hands, like he pushes his
like Luna.
He pushes his little hands up against their chest and just like starts running really fast like that.
He puts his hand up against their chest.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the pronouns.
You're just going to use all the pronouns.
Yeah, because they never really specified. And I saw everywhere online that they said he, her, and them.
Oh, dear.
But Ori, when you're running, you can jump and like climb on walls and just jump on the walls, or then later on climb them when you get the actual power up. And the movement is so fluid and so nice to look at. It's just so wonderful. I really, really loved the animations and the whole look of the game. So the game does something very well that not a lot of games do, and it's the swimming.
Oh my gosh, y'all talked about this in Zelda month.
Yeah, Adam hates underwater
Swimming,
levels.
yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure even Adam can't hate the swimming in this game because it's done so perfectly well. You do have a little meter of air that you have to come back up and breathe. But when you're swimming, it's basically like you get complete free movement in the underwater environment that you are in. So, or he just moves up and down wherever you point him at, he will go. And you just press, I think it's the B button on the Switch, and he just swims faster. And while you're underwater, a lot of games like to take away your ability to attack. Ori has his ability to attack because the way that Ori attacks is by seeing, shoots magic balls at the enemies to attack and defend Ori. And I loved being underwater. I did not hate being underwater. Most games you see water and you're like, oh, I don't want to fucking go in there. In this game, whenever there was water, I was like, I'm going in that fucking water right now.
I'll live my best life.
Yep, I'm gonna be a little mermaid, cat, monkey, dog,
Fox, monkey thing, Bob Jig.
And then later on, because you do get some experience whenever you kill monsters, eventually those turn into points that you can spend on new abilities. There's one ability that you can buy like halfway through the game where whenever you're underwater, you have unlimited air, so you don't have to come back up for air. So you just keep exploring underwater.
That's nice.
So I feel like the underwater mechanics in the game were done perfectly. Like if they ever decide to just release a game underwater with all of these mechanics, I will love the game because it was done perfectly well. So like I said, Sign shoots for Ori, and all the magic balls that Sign shoots, they're homing. So you don't even have to aim. You can, as long as you're in a good close proximity to the enemies, the attacks will just find them automatically and take them out. I liked that there were a lot of puzzles that utilized all of the abilities that you gain. For example, a lot of Metroidvanias like to do this thing where as soon as you get an ability, they like to give you like a small little gauntlet for you to get used to using that little ability. And in this game, once that happened, you would have to use that ability to get out of wherever you were. But on top of that, you would have to use all the other abilities you've gained before. So it wasn't just, let's use this ability from now on until we get the next one, and then we'll use that next one. No. The game did this perfect thing where it incorporated all of the abilities you gain so that you would have to use them the entire time. So you were not going to get an ability that's super important now and then later in the game is completely useless. So that was just perfect. I mean, it got to the point where I would have to cross like an entire trench without touching the ground, because if I touched the ground, I would die. And it just felt amazing just getting from one point to the other using all of the abilities that you've gained. And I don't know, as a platformer, it's done perfectly well. As a Metroidvania, it's done excellent. There are a couple of things that I didn't like about the game, though. The first one.
What?
The first one is that Metroidvanias have boss fights. The only other Metroidvania that I've played that really doesn't have any boss fights is Axiom Verge 2, which I fucking loved. This one doesn't have boss fights, and it feels like with all of the abilities and things that you can do in the game, having some really creative boss fights would have been great. It would have added to the experience, but no. The few boss fights that there are basically monsters that pop out of the ground. You shoot them, they go back in. They come back out, you shoot them, they go back in. So it's like playing fucking whack-a-mole with these monsters, because there's no better description of what the hell you're actually doing with them. Other than that, this one is a little bit more deep, and this is kind of a problem of the game itself.
How?
So most Metroidvanias, you know where you're going, you know your path, you know what the end goal is. In this game, they do set kind of an end goal in the beginning. So you have to go activate this, and this. But things happen in the story that made it feel like once you were done with the last one, you had to do something else before you can actually go to the end of the game. Nope, it didn't. Like I finished the whole last part. I'm watching the final cutscene. I didn't even know it was the final cutscene. I thought it was just leading up to the end game. So I paused it. I went and made us lunch. I came back. I told you I have like 2 hours left of game probably.
Then he was done.
Like
immediately.
I turn it on. I'm watching the ending and I'm like, holy shit. Oh my God, what's going to happen next? Oh my God, what's going to be the real big bad of the game? And then the credits roll. I'm like,
are you serious?
Like, what? But I don't hate the ending. I didn't hate it. I thought the ending was done well. I mean, the ending gave a bunch of the characters in the game so much more depth than, you would think they would have. But I was kind of like, what? I wasn't ready. I feel like I had so much more game left ahead of me, especially because there are 2 power-ups that I never got because those were optional. And once I finished the game, I jumped immediately right back in, got everything else in the game. I 100%ed the game in like an hour after I had seen the ending. And it's a super short game. It took me total like 8 hours to finish everything, which is not bad at all.
My nephew watched you play a little bit of it.
Yeah, and he was very enchanted with it. It sucks that it was in...
If only we could afford to buy him a Switch for Christmas.
It sucks that it was in handheld mode, but he was enchanted by it.
He was. He really thought it was pretty.
Yeah, because the movements are so fluid, and it's such a wonderful game to look at, and it's so mesmerizing with the colors and everything. But yeah, I wasn't ready for the ending. I thought I had a lot more game left, at least 2 hours more left. And no, I didn't. That was the end. But overall, this game is a whole experience. It's a tale of love, sacrifice, and perseverance. I loved everything about the game, the music, the gameplay, the sound design. And while the combat sometimes doesn't feel like it's, done perfectly well, and it doesn't feel very substantial like Axiom Verge 2 did, and there are a couple of things holding it back, I still feel like this game is well worth a 9 out of 10.
That's high.
Yeah.
That's real high.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that if in the second one they did fix some of the issues that I had with this game, no boss fights, puzzles, some puzzles were just fucking annoying. I feel like the game would be a definite 10 out of 10. There was one particular puzzle I wanted to smash my head against the floor. It was... You have this ability where when enemies shoot projectiles at you, you can like lock them in place and launch yourself off of them. So if you go up, the projectile will go down. If you go in an angle, the projectile will go the other way you're going. So you had to shoot the projectile to go into specific pieces of wood so that it would go into a specific direction so you could break a wall. And it took me like around 20 tries for me to get it all the way up the fucking screen to break the door that I had to go through. And it was clever, but it was just fucking annoying. There were just a couple of little things like that just annoyed me, but it's still a 9 out of 10. It is still a solid fucking great game. So I think our patrons did an amazing job choosing the winners this month from the backlog.
And Jen even went and bought a copy of this one, didn't she?
Yeah, as soon as we did the backlog episodes, she messaged me on Instagram and she said, I bought a copy of Ori. It's amazing. I really hope Ori wins because you need to play this game. I'm like, okay.
And it won!
Hopefully it wins. And it did, and it was awesome. I loved the game. It was great. Buy Ori. It's awesome. It might be the game that we give away at the end of the year, but who knows? It's too early for that.
The Dark Matter will not be the book that we give away at the end of the year. I already know what it is. Nothing will change my mind.
Oh boy, it's Bridgerton.
No. Oh, fuck no. Anyway.
Oh, I know. It's the Zelda mangas, right?
Yeah,
because
totally.
You love those.
Because I love them and they're so expensive. I would love to go out and buy an extra copy to give away. Let me tell you.
All right. So you know what time it is?
I do.
What time is it?
It's time for Gimme the Garbage.
All right, that is Give Me the Garbage.
This week's restaurant is the popular chain and country store, Cracker Barrel.
Caucasian container.
Yes, Caucasian container, Crackle Barrel. A lot of people call it Crackle Barrel.
Oh, Lord.
They do. My sister called it Crackle Barrel for a long time.
Of course she did.
When we were, well, I mean, we were little, so it was fair. But, like, I know some people who don't listen to the podcast, so I'm going to call them out. Alan definitely calls it Crackle Barrel.
Of course he does.
No. Sorry, if your name's Alan and you have no idea what I'm talking about, ignore this.
Yeah, we're
he
talking
knows
about
who he
you.
is.
We're definitely talking about you because we do know.
Oh, God. So if you go to Cracker Barrel and you order anything other than breakfast, you don't have a soul.
Yeah.
Why would you ever go to Cracker Barrel and get regular food?
My aunt said that she was getting Cracker Barrel for Thanksgiving because they weren't going to cook and she wasn't going to make my grandma make a bird
Slave
for 3
over.
people. So they just had Cracker Barrel for Thanksgiving.
I mean, that's fair. I've heard their Thanksgiving dinner is pretty good, but I do not think of Cracker Barrel as anything other than a breakfast joint.
Yeah.
Ever.
I guess that's fair.
So, go ahead.
So we dealt with the wall in the bathroom being ripped out and the toilet. But before that, when we were in Georgia, we tried to go to Cracker Barrel because I wanted some French toast. And we got to the Cracker Barrel. We looked through the store for like half an hour, and then we waited for another half hour just standing there. And that's where I got these Milkas because, I haven't seen them anywhere except for up there. And yesterday, after we were done dealing with the whole water thing, we were hungry. And I was like, "What do you want to eat?" It's like, "Why don't we just go to fucking Cracker Barrel?"
We never got it, so might as well.
And
all of our other plans are fucked.
Honestly, there was only one thing that I hated about Cracker Barrel.
What was that? The fact that my sweet tea ran out?
My bacon fell on the floor.
Your bacon fell on the floor. At least it was only half a strip of bacon.
It's still a lot of bacon.
I know, it was a lot of bacon.
Half a strip is a lot of bacon.
Oh my gosh. So I have a new regular at Cracker Barrel. I get the Sunrise Sampler because it is one of the only, if not the only, item that includes both fried apples and hash brown casserole. Literally every other fucking thing on the breakfast menu is, and your choice of fried apples or hash brown casserole. Fried apples or hash brown casserole. It's fried apples and hash brown casserole. So basically you get 2 eggs of your choice of how you want it cooked. Hash brown casserole. You get bacon, sausage, and ham.
Yeah.
I don't like ham. I really don't like their sausage. I'll be quite frank. So next time I might ask if I can have triple bacon because you only get 1 slice of bacon. That's such bullshit. What the hell?
No, you get 2.
Well, I only got 2 because I substituted bacon for the ham. That's the only reason I got 2.
Is it a white people thing to just eat 2 slices of bacon?
1 slice of bacon? What the hell? What country are you from? What world? What universe are you from? Not even what country.
It's so
wrong.
fucking wrong. Yeah.
So wrong. So it comes with that and the fried apples and grits and all the fixins, which is biscuits, sawmill gravy, and jelly and butter. They didn't ever bring me any jelly, but it's okay because I wanted the gravy.
Yeah,
it's okay.
You did want the gravy.
It's okay. Honestly, all my food needed was for the sausage to go away and get another slice of bacon and some salt. The gravy and the eggs and the hash brown casserole all needed a little bit of salt.
Yours? Mine didn't. Mine were perfect.
Really?
Yeah, everything about mine was perfect.
Just needed a little bit of salt.
So I had the, what was it called? The Mama's French Toast Basket or something like that. It is 4 slices of brioche dipped in their custard and cooked French toast style, whatever the fuck. Well, it's French toast, obviously. So
it's 4 slices of French toast.
Bacon, 2 eggs, hash brown casserole, which I didn't know that it brought a hash brown casserole.
Yeah, because he ordered an extra side of hash brown casserole and extra bacon.
Yep. So I had like 8 pieces of bacon and half of one fell on the floor. Rest in peace, you beautiful
I only
bacon.
had 2 slices of bacon, so don't even.
Anyways, the hash brown casserole was great. Super cheesy, super flavorful.
God, it's so good. Did you notice that they
wonderful.
make that hash brown casserole into tots?
They do?
They do.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try that.
Yeah.
Anyways, the eggs were perfect. They were cooked perfect. Usually I get them over
They were
easy.
awesome.
But they were
Over medium.
over medium. I love that they were over medium, so their the part where the yolk was cooked enough so that it wouldn't break,
Yes.
but it wasn't hard inside.
Exactly. It was still runny.
So it was perfect. I would eat all of the
How we
eggs
want
and
all
just
of our
pick
pho
it up.
eggs to be.
And when I ate that and the egg popped, it was just, oh my God, so much deliciousness. Now the French toast. Oh my Lord. This is probably the best French toast I've ever had in my entire life.
It was even better than last time we had Cracker Barrel French toast, wasn't it?
So this French toast is very rich, very flavorful, very cinnamony and sweet.
Very sweet.
And I don't know if it's depending on the restaurant or whatnot, but whenever they soak it in the mixture and they put it on the flat top, sometimes it soaks up a lot of the mixture, so the inside is kind of custardy and a little bit eggy and delicious. And oh my God, it is the most rich, deep flavored, wonderful French toast I've ever had. And mine is trash compared to this French toast.
It really is.
Mine is trash?
Yeah, compared to this.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that mine is trash overall.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, I don't really like French toast, so I'm not the best person to ask.
I adore French toast. So I was telling Karen as I was eating the last piece that eating that French toast makes me feel like I need to suffer while I'm eating it, just because I don't deserve something so delicious.
You're ridiculous.
And so wonderful. Because nothing should be that perfect. I think, honestly, I think that that French toast is the best thing that I've ever eaten this entire year. The best thing I've eaten this entire year. Yeah.
What?
I don't know if it's because I was craving it or because it really is that good, but
You were craving it. We were tired. We'd had a very long and trying day.
yeah.
And you were craving it.
I ate it. We went, did groceries, came back. I played Ori.
I watched Emma.
We had a good day yesterday, apart from the whole
Tragedy of the pipes.
Anyways, I've also had their crunchy fried steak, the country fried steak.
Country fried steak.
Country fried steak.
You don't go to Cracker Barrel and get anything other than breakfast.
Well, it is breakfast because it comes with eggs.
Oh
and,
my gosh.
Hash brown casserole.
No, you know what is like the most amazing thing? When you do let that egg pop on your plate and let the yolk run out a little bit and scoop it up with your bacon. Oh my God. That's heaven on plate. Heaven on plate.
Yeah, it's so good. Amazing. Yeah, what do you think? Trash? Garbage?
Oh, no, it's definitely garbage.
It's definitely garbage. Oh,
Cracker Barrel, it honestly can be hit or miss, but I feel like it's never bad. It just could be less good sometimes.
Less good
Never
is right.
bad.
Yeah, because I have had the country fried steak. I have had the country fried steak a couple of times, and it's kind of soggy from sitting, but it doesn't taste bad.
Never tastes bad.
Never
Those
tastes
biscuits are always good.
I'm not a fan of biscuits. So
Oh,
you
I
can
love
have all
them
of them.
biscuits. I
The
love
only-
them.
The only way I like biscuits is when they're drowning in honey. Other than that, I don't
So
care.
weird.
Yeah, I think I think I might be.
broken.
I might be a bear in human clothing. So I think that's where my love of honey comes from.
You're Winnie the Pooh.
Chubby the Pooh, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, garbage. So you want to go ahead and get into some housekeeping so we can end this episode?
Yeah.
All right, so let me just go ahead and pull it here, my housekeeping notes. First off, Patreon, $2 a month. We are going to start doing more content. We're going to try to...
Every time.
At this point, we're probably just going to start off the new year with new content.
New Marvel stuff.
We're going to put more things in there starting soon. Within the next couple of weeks, something's going to go up. Until then, just listen to all our old stuff. We have a bunch of episodes there that are fun. We have a very emotional one about Karradyne crying over books. And I think there's one about me talking Star Fox. I'm not sure. I think that might just be in the regular feed. Anyways, remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at anovelconsole and on Facebook at facebook.com/anovelconsole. Don't forget, you can also tell your friends that they can find a podcast on most major podcast streaming platforms and that they can also listen on YouTube by searching for A Novel Console. Don't forget to tell them to subscribe, like, and comment, which we would like if they did. You should also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts so that more people can find us. You can also email us at anovelconsole@gmail.com and we will read your email on the show. And our art was done by Metamorphic A. You can find her on Instagram and her link is in the show notes. Anything else you want to say before we end the show? Patrons did amazing.
Yes. Thank you for your choices, even though I wanted to read the book about Mr. Darcy.
Well, you can still read it.
I know.
A regular episode.
I know. It's fine.
Dark Matter sounds awesome.
Good choices. It was fun.
Yeah. So, anything else so we can end?
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.